to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which it stands, one nation, under indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Got going on tonight, yes.
So Chair, we have, first up, department head updates. Tim Brown?
We're plugging along really well on the getting roads ready for pavement. It'll be tight, but I think he will make it. We talked to him last week and they're still coming on the 21st of July to reclaim. Then they're gonna grade, and then they'll pave the sidewalks, then they'll pave the roads. Hopefully tomorrow we'll get rolling on, do some FEMA work and get that started. As soon as the roads are paved, we'll dedicate our time for the finishing that up. That's about it.
Okay.
Oh, the roadside mowers are gonna be here soon too.
Any questions?
We're done.
Rusty?
See a lot of digging going around.
Things go well. We have some problems with one of the cans. We had just fixed one, so we had four, so we could rotate. And we've gotten a wheel somewhere along the line where the metal roller wheels have broken off one of them, so it's hard because we're skidding around the yard. But I talked to the welder, who's gonna go take a look at it, get it fixed. Should be back here. That.
Any questions for Rusty? Nope. Robin is on phone time with today, and Tim Billaju mentioned he'd be attending next week, or next. So that's it for tonight. There are no appointments this evening. And then first up, we do have a public hearing for the motor vehicle waste fund waste oil burner. Rusty has
Do I need to open the meeting or public? So we need. Your turn.
It's basically the same proposal I had from Air Equipment down in Littleton. They're the only one, they're the one that supplied the furnace to us 25 years ago. And only serviced it. We're the only ones around doing anything from waste oil electrical all the way to the southern part of the state. So, to replace it, it's there. This one's slightly bigger. And I've looked it up, it should be bigger than one that's there, one's pretty hard. Small size, but a little bit. So this is for $4,000. Hold on, I'll set that as 1569. Your warranty, 12 euro chamber and heat exchangers.
What was the price again?
16 or 15.
Just want to kind of recap where we were from last time about this fund. I want to make sure I understand. So from the town meeting, we ended the fund.
Yeah.
And we started a new fund in the highway department. And we had the intent of moving the money to the highway department.
Yes.
We learned that in fact, we cannot do that. So this money is actually in.
Can't be spent on anything else.
It cannot be spent on anything else. It has to be spent, okay,
On certain things.
on. So,
Related to motor vehicle waste.
yes,
The,
and that's provided by New Hampshire DES.
Yes.
That they give us those parameters, and this falls within those parameters.
Yes. Direct.
Just making sure for the good of the all, we all understand what this is.
I will make a motion. Allow the expenditure of $15,690 on the replacement of the waste oil furnace at the transfer station.
A second.
Okay, and a second.
I probably jumped the gun on that because we got something going on.
Oh,
That's right. Oh, yeah, come.
Sorry about that,
Yeah.
but
All right. We'll hold up. Is there anything from the public? John?
I appreciate the clarification that this was money that has to stay within the waste stream.
Yeah.
And that's why we're making this decision, and I gather the old furnace is no good.
it's not that it's no good. We were told a couple years ago that the company who built that furnace stopped making parts for it in 20. And the people who service it have some parts, but he made me aware that he is running very low. So he serviced it for us, replaced a number of components on it this last go around. Part of the reason why he wanted the larger BTU is he said, you're really working this thing hard. I'm having to clean it almost twice a year. I do it in the spring, then I kind of do it in the fall. When it starts to shudder and act crazy, you call him and he comes in and it's just,
So it's not a new function, basically replacing an existing
the
function.
existing
with
thing
money.
will only slightly bigger, so hopefully it does not run as steady as the one that's in there.
All right.
It's a debate on taxpayer money, one way or the other. This fund has to be expended on like stuff for the waste oil furnace and recycling
Right,
things.
so this is a fee that's collected from registration, just as it will be done then. And then this didn't go into the general fund, this went into a bank account and basically says, and that's the problem with spending it on it. You know, guideline, so now we have to spend it that. So it just sits until we can spend it.
I'll say time for you to get you out of purgatory.
It's money that's there.
I mean, I think it's a wise decision to replace this furnace before we get into the middle of next winter and all of a sudden it breaks down and you can't get parts and
It's just like us, anybody who has a resident waste oil furnace right now is having the same parts fail. So that's why he warned, he said, I have some, but I'm not telling you how long I'm gonna last to get it.
So my motion stands.
Okay, and I have a second. Kathy Jean, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 2 years. Out of non-public. Need to vote to get out of the hearing? No. And we're out of the hearing, back to the selectmen.
Next up is a review of the June 16th, 2025 minutes. Make a motion to accept the June 16th minutes as presented.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next up is sign various paperwork. First up is a permit to use or explode fireworks at 36 Prospect Street on July 26th and 27th. Also a solar exemption application at 52 Reed Road to update the application with the new owner. And then next up is a PA 28 inventory car. To determine if the inventory form will be used in 2026. We no longer use inventory forms due to the 5-year cyclical revaluation in our building permit process. So most all of the changes are except during that process. So we will not be using it. Next up this evening is new business. First up is the vote to accept unanticipated funds from the Office of Highway Safety Grant in the amount of $6,900. This is for the increased patrols that the Lancaster Police Department supports. So we're looking for acceptance of that.
I'll make a motion to accept as unanticipated funds Office of Highway Safety Grant in the amount of $6,900. And to grant authorized representative and signatory authority to town manager Jessica Steele.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. You'll see in your packet, next up is a letter to the Highland Village Townhouse properties regarding additional building rights. So this is a perennial conversation when it comes to deeding and so on and so forth. I drafted a letter using some language that was from a letter previously drafted by former town manager Olson, requesting that the parties, consider contacting an attorney to deal with it. Basically making the new owners aware of what's going on. And next up is the ZBA appointment recommendation. This is for the zoning board of adjustment voted on June 26th to recommend appointment of Donald Fredette as a regular member for a term serving out his alternate term of 3 years, expiring in 2028.
Motion to appoint Donald Fredette as a regular member of the zoning board of adjustment.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Too late now.
You should run.
Yeah. We have, next up under new business is assessment appeals. We have a number of assessment appeals. First up is from Rideout.
I will recuse myself from the discussion on any matters, the last name Rideout.
Take all. Change your name tonight.
You'll see an assessment appeal review from Yorktown Associates for a number of parcels, recommending an adjustment to further account for. Can I make a motion for all of the write-out appeals together? Likely at you name each parcel.
And each parcel. Okay, I make a motion to accept the abatement request and refund on write-out parcel P02 -018, P02 -019, or P02 -020, and R05 -011.
I'll second it. Yeah. Second that for you,
Yeah.
Angie. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
A number of. Next up for the assessment appeal review is for Netify at map lot R18-023L-1. The property owner requested an abatement for the wireless monopole located on leased land at 33 Hodge Road because it was sold to the landowner on August 17th of 2024. It was explained to the owner that all property is assessed as of April 1st each year. Since the sale did not occur until after April 1st, the property was assessed correctly to the correct owner. It has been adjusted for 2025, so no change in the assessment is recommended for 2024.
Make a motion to accept the recommendation.
Second.
Identify.
All in favor? All in favor?
Next up is for map lot R10-070. This is dated June 27th of 2023. The assessor finds that the current assessment is fair and consistent with other assessments and is supported by the market. Denial of appeal is recommended. Make a motion to accept the recommendation on R 10-070.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next up is for map P03 lot dash 018, from an assessment appeal review dated June 27th, 2025. From the assessor, the current assessment is fair and equitable and is more than supported by the market. Denial of the appeal is recommended. I don't see that in my packet, but I do think I saw them. Thank you. Oh, yes, I read this. We got this in the email, but I don't think I clicked it. You have it in front of you, right? I do that.
The agenda says names, you're just going by parcel numbers. Can you tell us which name goes with which parcel number?
For,
Well, there's a lot of things listed here, and we're just talking about ranges of lots, but
for map lot, R 10-070, it's Matus. For, what did I just get off? That was for DuPont. You have it in your packet. I'll make a motion.
Make a motion to accept the recommendation of no change on map lot P03-018.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Thank you.
Aye.
I need the next one to go. Yep. Next up is for map lot R 11-018 for Emerson. The property owner appealed the assessment of her property located at 8 Garland Road due to a flood that caused significant damage. That took place on July 10th of 2024. A visit to the property was conducted. The house did incur significant damage. However, that damage was after April 1st of 2024. So denial of the appeal is recommended. It's been updated for 2025 to indicate the damage that was done from the storms.
I don't have that in front of me.
Yep, I remember that one. Make a motion to accept the recommendation on, sorry, Emerson, I don't know the font number from R 11-018.
All in favor?
Aye.
That's it for the assessment appeals. And there's no other business for new business. No old business. And next up, I have the select board member reports. I don't have anything this week.
The only thing, we got another update on fountains.
Yes, Barry Normando, says that it will be installed later this month. And I reached out to him again this morning for a little bit more firmer of a date, which was not provided.
All I have.
Okay, next up, town manager report. I want to thank everyone who helped with the 4th of July parade. It was a great day. It's a great time being here for my first parade. Nice to see everybody. We are continuing to work on backfilling the finance director's position. We have interviews for engineering firms for the Summer Street project on June 25th. Scoring rubrics are being calculated for consideration at the next select board meeting. We have an anti-artillery vehicle in Centennial Park with a bent rim. And it seems like it's next to near the library. Seems like we have two options. One is to repair using a new rim to try and find a new rim to do, to bring it back up to original standards, or the other is to fix it as best as we can in-house. So I was looking for a little guidance from you all as far as what your preference would be. Go for it, Tim.
The rim on the cannon looks like it's flat tire, but the tire doesn't appear to be flat. The wheel has just deteriorated on the steel wheel. It's rusted away and it's tipped. So if one can't be located, the best I could suggest is try to take it off and bring it to the garage and straighten it so it looks nice and reinforce it.
It currently not made any progress on trying to track anything down as far as who owns it or anything else.
Right, I don't own it. We had gotten a complaint, so I stopped and looked at it.
It's been there since before I was in elementary school.
Yeah.
I don't want to date myself. They have a department of the army that kind of controls that kind of thing. Trying to find out contact numbers. It's kind of challenging in my spare time, but I know they control the rifles that we have for firing details, so maybe I'll pull a number for the rifles, but I think. Yeah.
Bought one another town, could do that midnight shop.
Pull a pair of cards, but it's a can and white things. Bring the whole thing here.
We're upgrade to a tank or something.
Yeah, they go.
Chris Gagnon is performing some annual life safety inspections throughout town. So he's been going around to the area businesses and had some success. So an additional 7 monitored fire alarms will be installed before the fall, which meets the requirements of RSA 155 for meeting requirements. This will allow for faster response times for emergency responders. Will provide for greater protection in multi-use properties, so properties where there's a restaurant down below with the residents up above, and also for greater citizen safety. They'll be alerted when things are happening. So some good news. And as you can see, the plumbers are here working on our building. I've been spending a lot of time with the Coloneltown players. I attended a board meeting via Zoom last Monday. And we still continue to work on their space and their footprint within the building.
Yeah. I find it rather distressing that we asked them to move their stuff out of the building so we could make repairs. And then also, according to our fire chief, we need to lower the fire load in this building. So it's a safety issue. So far, they have moved some, but they have not completed that move. And I believe we did request a date that they have the stuff moved. Therefore, I will make a motion that they must remove all Coloneltown players' materials no later than July 20th.
Is that catered to a certain footprint in the auditorium?
Don't say everything.
That's everything.
Yeah, all equipment and materials in any location. Do they have things?
In any location.
They have items in the basement, which are garment racks for their costumes, and they also have in cleaning out the balcony, they had gated their stuff to just the prop room in the back of the balcony. So they have reduced their footprint up there.
But it's not empty. They've reduced it, but it's not.
Yes, we did not request for them to take everything out of the balcony. just to,
I think it needs to be, everything within this bill needs to go. We got plumbers in here working and we're paying them by the hour. And if they gotta work in and around stacks of material and stuff, that's slowing them down. So it needs to go, and arbitrary, I don't even know what day of the week July 20th is, but
It's a Saturday.
that gives them almost an extra month from what we had originally said.
You'd like to add a consequence to your motion? You know, what happened?
We'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
The 20th, and we would have a meeting the next day. So we could cross that bridge the very next day. We have a meeting on the 21st. Yeah, Monday, the 21st would be our next meeting. And send a letter to them. Yeah, okay, I'll second that motion.
One thing,
All right,
thank you.
Do you want us to sign that or just say?
I'll have to draft, I'll get on the phone so they have as much, notice as possible. I've been working with FEMA. Unfortunately, my contacts were reassigned likely to other places in the United States. Was hoping to receive a big battle check before the end of June, but haven't, so now we anticipate seeing it before the end of July. And continuing to work on mitigation. Our contact for mitigation was out of the office for 2 weeks. He was in the office last week, but I haven't heard from him. And that is it. I've had a number of welfare applicants. I can't recall off the top of my head, but I've seen influx in the past couple of days with folks coming in. Mostly, was it rent? Mostly rent and electrical. That is it for me. There's a number of information in your packet. One is for the New Hampshire Liquor Commission notice to municipalities for Mead Hill / Morganville. Just wanted to make you aware regarding that. It seems as though they're going to be doing gatherings. So if they indeed have gatherings of a set number of people they anticipate at these gatherings, that may require some additional life and safety inspections. So making you aware of that. There's also a zoning board meeting notice on July 9th, 2025 at 6:30 p.m. And then there are land use permits. Robin's been busy.
I think that's planning board, actually, not zoning. I know it says zoning, but I think it's planning board.
It is, yes, planning board. Yep. So Lancaster Planning Board on July 9th, 2025 at 6:30 p.m. Land use permit for Roger Fontaine and Brenda Dingman at 14 Woodcrest Lane to construct a stick-built 24 by 24 two-bay carport, full barn for galvanized T-pole with metal roof on a gravel pad. For Sam Main and Abby Roy at 5 Holton Park to construct two stick-built 8-foot walls to enclose the breezeway between the house and garage. Existing concrete floor, vinyl siding, existing shingled roof, no heat, no expansion of footprint. For Gary and Marissa Rexford at 26 Pleasant Street for demolition and construction of a 16-foot front dormer with metal roof, interior reno including flooring, upgraded electrical and plumbing, spray foam insulation of the second floor, and no change to the existing footprint or layout. For Lisa Hampton and James D. at 8 Rowell Road to construct stick-built shingled roof over existing rear 15 by 26 foot rounded deck, replace deck boards. For Jeffrey Hardy and Amelia Hardy at 20 Hodge Road to demolish existing 42 by 58 foot barn and extend the laundry room and update hookups. For Eric Stanger and Linda Stanger, 208 Grange Road to construct a 65 by 80 by 33 foot clear span arena barn on existing lighting area. For James Ennis and Christina at 175 R Martin Meadow Pond Road, demolition of existing asphalt shingle roof. John Parks off of Causeway Street to construct a stick-built one-story two-bedroom dry, two-bathroom camp with, two-bedroom dry camp with tin roof on concrete slab, wood siding, plywood walls, electricity, gas, and wood pellet heat outhouse situated approximately 1.5 miles along Causeway Street off the right fork. And then a sign permit has been issued to Lisa Nass, trustee of the Lisa Nass Revocable Trust, for a sign at the Dalton Mountain Motorsports. Next up, public comments.
Red Road,
Be shocked. Okay. Well, the first comments will not be public comments, will be comments on things I have on my purview. I just want to say the air show, depending on, we don't know how it sugared off financially, but the crowd loved it. It was a great success. No planes hit the dirt. And so it would thank you for your support and being part of the commission. It came off pretty well. With respect to the Connecticut River Joint Commission, we continue to have trouble raising a quorum. So a new policy is going to be sending out the agenda and the notice of the meeting to all the select board groups within our River Bend segment in the hopes that that will excite them into appointing some people, fill out our ranks. What happens there, of course, is looking at the DES permits and stuff. And it's a way for us to get feedback back to you if anything's happening. With respect to the Colonel Town Spending Committee, we were going to have our second meeting last week. We couldn't raise a quorum, so it's canceled. What's going on there is we are working on whether or not we want to ask the investment committee to change the what do you call it? The unit trust to pay 5% instead of 4%, and the impact on the town would be it would generate $50,000 or $60,000 more cash built into the town coffers to support the Colonel Town Recreation Department. We're just looking into deciding if we think it's a good idea, and then we'll look into the process. And the last thing is Emmons Smith Committee. For the first time in a long time, somebody was referred to us and we interviewed them, and we're going to help them out. We appreciate the opportunity to use some of our funds to take care of some of the town problems so that burden doesn't on welfare. And we are coordinating with the welfare officer and making all that happen. Those are my basic report with respect to what I'm supposed to do. So if you know anyone who wants to be on the River Commission, we have a slot here in Lancaster, and then there are a lot of other slots. Basically, I wanted to comment, I feel like the treatment we're getting Turtle Town players is the same that we're getting from the farmers market people who came and made a big and asked us for accommodations, and we asked them to help us out by not parking all over the place. And I still see that they're parking. They park up against the library. They park everywhere during the summer. That's kind of disappointing. That seems to be par for the course. And in general, there's something going on with a major piece of property in town, which is the motel. And I know that just went through, was it the zoning board that looked at it? And now it goes to planning. Is there any information we can share to the public other than what we read in the Caledonian? I understand the process is, it didn't sell as a motel, so it was a group that made a proposal. They would like to convert it into affordable housing.
Non-affordable housing, market rate, housing.
Market rate, thanks for clarifying. So in other words, the idea would be to make it into a residential place. And so market rate means that they're not going for various supporting grants. And so I gather that where that's right now is when we see what happens when it goes through planning, then does it come before the townspeople, or is a permit is a permit and they can go ahead, because that's what our rules are for.
Yep.
Thanks for clarifying that.
anything else? Yeah, was the density issue, given a variance for the mobile?
I wasn't at the last meeting, so I can't comment.
Anybody else? Was
The
it?
zoning board, yeah, gave
They did.
the variance to go from 30 to 36.
Yep.
There are 36 rooms now.
Do you feel they're gonna meld some of them together, or
Pardon?
do you feel they're gonna meld some of those together, or react?
Yeah, they're gonna, you know, if you think about, they'll take the public space when we first walk in, you know, the big lobby and that. And they'll, you know, it's gonna be primarily 1-bedroom apartments with a few 2-bedroom is what they're proposing.
I guess my here, there is that, run out of parking. And that they should be, I should come to the zoning board meeting, but you should have a stipulation on them, to keep within the parking of the motel and not fill our public parking by the motel.
I think that'll come up at the planning board when we do the merits of the case.
Hotel,
And
beyond.
I'm on.
I'm pretty sure they know park would be an issue if they don't propose that.
Correct, I mean, we're gonna get this with the additional housing in DJ Noise and the Jeffrey Block and getting so it's had to find the parking place anymore. And we don't need that motel project. Not bad though from the motel project, but we don't need it put in the town parking lot, the municipal parking lot. In particular, justification should be made that they contain themselves within, they are now, and that they don't, that's how. They will be, correct me if I'm wrong, they will be on the same thing as PJ and just Block, that they won't be taxed anything for the improvements for 5 years.
They haven't asked for
I
that.
haven't asked for that.
And that's what, but they can't yet.
We'll cross that bridge if we get there.
I'm sure they,
The sale hasn't gone through.
right. I'm
I
sure
mean,
they-
so what you're asking is a long way down the road. I mean,
Right, asking if they ask for it, we can't deny it, can we?
79E.
So there's another burden on Lancaster taxpayers for, you know, to be, to grow down country. Bad, the rest of us pick that up. When they can do a 5-year, for 5 years, they don't have to pay anything on the improvements. Rest of the taxpayers pay off, pay for it too.
oh, we would get the payment on the existing appraisal, which would be great. I mean, the assessing assessment.
You're gonna get that, you're gonna get that battle one. You get the first place before anybody else, does, correct? I don't think there's any question that you're gonna get your back tax.
Down the sale goes through.
Exactly. The sale doesn't go.
That's a lot, I think it's just to give them. Get our taxes back. That's all we get.
John, it's my understanding that these units, I wasn't at the last meeting. The story that I heard was the 36 units approval, variance on the 36 units. 2 parking spaces per unit is going to be provided. So if there's going to be any room on with parking, anything DJ noise, fortunately that building parking is a limit. Period. You don't need a parking book. Okay.
Actually, more land there than what most people realize. Yeah.
Right, like, correct. So there will be parking. As far as the parking situation goes.
Yeah.
We'd like to enter into non-public session 91A32C for matters which if discussed in public would likely adverse the reputation of any person other than a public member of the public itself.
Take that.
So we need a roll call. So we need a motion to go in the non-public session for the reason Jessica stated,
91A32C.
91A32C.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. Aye. Roll call, Leo? Aye.
Jeannie, aye.
Okay, we're in. Okay.